This is me, Juan Ignacio Luque Sandoval, Country Manager of Startup in Montenegro. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to this special day. We are celebrating the Women's Month, Women's in Entrepreneurship Month. So, as you may know, for previous events, this is a recorded. This event is being recorded, and afterwards it will be upload to our YouTube official channel for Startup Grind. During the session, please feel free to submit your questions on the chat if you have any, and close to the end, we will try to answer with the guests we have today. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce our two special guests, Alena Medvedeva, co-founder and COO of Taskinfinity. Taskinfinity is a female-led fundraising agency that assists startups in securing investments. She's also co-founder of Startup Factory in Montenegro and has plenty of experience working with startup, financials, and venture capital. Also with us is Aleksandra Simoni, founder and CEO of Green Lightning Plastic Fantastic, which is a 3D design and printing startup that combines artistic design with sustainability. Aleksandra is a lifelong learner with experience in several areas such as tourism, IT, sales, and marketing. So with all these knowledge, it seems like a natural outcome that she started her own business. So let's welcome both so we can learn more about them and their amazing projects. Welcome, Alena and Aleksandra. Thank you for coming and joining us today.
Thank you so much, Juan, for introduction. It's a big pleasure to be here today. Hey, everyone.
Thank you, Alena. Again, thank you, Aleksandra, for joining in.
Hello, I just want to greet everyone here today, and hopefully we'll have a fruitful discussion.
Well, I'm pretty sure it will be, because you both have quite interesting projects, and I'm pretty sure everybody will want to know more about that. So, without further ado, as we are always, with a short time and a lot of questions, I want to start with kind of the hot dish. So. We will start with Alena, but the question is for both of us. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey and what led you to start your own business, right?
Yeah, sure. This is a good question. I've been working for startups and with startups for more than 6 years. Previously, I worked as a portfolio associate at Altair Capital. It's a global venture capital firm with more than 350 portfolio startups and more than $300 million assets under management. And this experience helped me to understand how investors see startups from the other side. And after that, me and my partner decided to start a fundraising agency. And actually, these 6 years that I've been working with startups, I tried many approaches how to help startups. I was working in grant competition, part of some startups program. I also, as you mentioned, co-founded Startup Factory in Montenegro. This is a big incubator in Western Balkans that also helping startups to make their first steps via businesses. And after combining all that experience on how to help startups, this ended up in creating a fundraising agency where me and my partner, she's also from venture capital, she also was in part of investment team, and we've looked through more than 2,000 pitch decks from startups, so we really know how investors evaluate them and how grant competitions choose startups and what pitches are considered to be good or bad. And now we combined all this experience and created this agency that helps startups on their journey. Usually we work with pre-seed and Series A startups, but sometimes we also help pre-seed like even early stage or later stage startups. So that's why I think that all my career ended up in creating my own business, helping startups to grow and secure money from investors.
Okay, that's an impressive and quite demanding type of project that you have built
Hope
on.
so, right? Yeah, the
Uh,
market of startups, data fundraising is really big market because fundraising, no, it's not for all of the startups, that definitely, but many startups cannot achieve break even or even scale without any external money that they can secure from investors, from venture capital or private equity investors. And actually, yeah, this is a big growing market, but obviously it's not for all.
no, of course, but we will deep dive on this because
Sure,
I
sure.
have a few questions that I'm pretty sure are quite interesting for everyone. So what about you, Alexandra? How you ended up with this quite interesting project?
It's actually, I just want to say first that it's really good to have Elena here because she's sort of covering the both sides of the coin. She's a startup founder herself, and then she's helping other startups succeed. So basically, my journey is a little bit different. I didn't have any innate expertise in the field that I started my startup at. My background is very diverse. So basically, I always had an interest in creative industries, but I also wanted to make some sort of an impact because I live in Montenegro and it's like a smaller country and a bigger community, so to say. And there was always this amazing nature in Montenegro that inspired me. So it's basically a collision of this beautiful inspiration in nature and then the persistent problem of plastic waste and general waste. um, so this was something that was a starting point for me. It was good because I had some base knowledge about this because I have a background in political science. Also, I did a lot of marketing, and I had also software as a service type of experience before. So this was all some sort of like a harmonic blend of all of these things that helped me start my journey as an entrepreneur. So basically, this was an idea. Just I have actually a goal to not only create sustainable products because our products are made from recycled plastic and biodegradable materials, but also I want to inspire others about these type of potentials for young businesses that can use green technology in their design and in their products, and they don't necessarily have to know it all before they start. So this was something that really helped me push through first step of actually starting my own business.
Okay, that's quite impressive. What is actually not impressive is that it was, from my point of view, a normal path for you. Eventually, with all this knowledge and these different experiences, uh, I think you will end up with a business, whether it's this one or another one, or eventually a new one in the future, right? Because you are sort of an all-in-one, you know. So it's quite interesting, but as Alina probably knows very well, it's not always the case, right? We don't always find founders with such a rounded uh, amount of experience and knowledge in different areas that eventually you need to run a business, right? So, uh, as you both come from complete different backgrounds, but I have a quite of understanding that you have been collaborating together and you know each other probably from Startup Factory, if I'm correctly. Uh, and due the case that we are celebrating, you know, our Startup and Women's Month, what are for you both? We start with you, Alina. The challenges that most women face at the time of deciding to being or founders or start their own businesses or what you know the typical challenges that are not applied to men, let's say, right? So what is different for you as a woman, both of you, that is not the same with us, right?
Yeah, thank you for the question. First, I want to say that I've heard the statistics that only 30% of all the startups in the US and Europe had at least one female founder, and not speaking of startups that are fully female-led. And this trend is rising, so it's not like it was 10 years ago, and there are many startups that are founded by women. And the most common obstacle for me is, I guess, gender bias, when you're not taken that seriously because you are female, and probably sometimes not everyone believes in your expertise. But I do not have any experience working in a startup with men, so I can compare this experience. But as for me, this gender bias can be resolved by showcase your expertise, and also when you see like the successful cases that already was obtained by your clients, and you can really guarantee that this business is helping you, and you prove this with your expertise, your experience, with your previous successful cases. This gender bias can be resolved. And also, I would like to say that I really like how women try to help themselves via some women communities. So this is also one of the most powerful thing that helped me during my journey. I'm a part of different women programs and women communities, and they are helping themselves with services or network, because the second obstacle that we can challenge is lack of network, because men not tend to build this business connections with women usually. This is changing, and of course not implied to everyone, it's just like common trend. And women helping women really can help you achieve a lot in your business.
Okay, that's quite interesting to know. It seems like the challenges are the same for women no matter what they're doing, right? So this is a very bad thing on us men, right? So it's good to know that the trend is going is moving, upwards. I think also that what we usually call startup usually is like a tech-based startup, right? And the amount of women in that sector is probably, it has a big difference on how many engineers or women engineers we have, rather than up to many engineers, right? For historical reasons, I would say. But it's good to know that this trend is changing, and this all women communities helping each other are also thriving. So it's a good thing to know. And from your point, Alexandra, as a founder yourself, after being into different roles previously, what are the challenges that you are facing as a female entrepreneur right now, maybe in Montenegro?
Well, it was, I have to agree with Alina and yourself, Juan. It was the same obstacles, but it was also another point, because especially if you're starting as a woman in tech, and especially if you don't have the background for it, it can be a bit challenging. Also, I had to go through the initial skepticism about starting a business as a young person and as a young woman entrepreneur in Montenegro, especially the first one in my family who actually went into this step. So there was also like some challenges of generally asserting leadership in this type, because 3D technology, 3D design, and 3D printing is under tech. So this was also something that I had to overcome, like just be very thorough and have persistence, and also bring I had to bring together strong support, and had to network a lot, because I didn't have this background, and all of these people and all of these industries and these types of businesses were kind of new to me. So this was the sort of obstacles that I was going through. Also, there were some issues about not say issues, but more like questions about the profitability and things like this, and like if Montenegro is too small of a market to start this type of business. But for me, I didn't see it that way. I saw it as an opportunity, because a lot of people feared this step, and I thought this was a good place for me to thrive. So it turned out to be a good step forward. So I think this can be, an inspiration to other people, because where a lot of people see obstacles, you can see an opportunity. And this is something that was presented to me by my friends and people close to me. They told me, okay, maybe someone is doing something similar, but you are not doing the same thing as they are. You are a different person, you have a different background, you have different interests. And this was really something that helped me in these initial steps. So to overcome this, let's say, fear of starting, you're always afraid to take the first step. What will happen? What are the consequences? But really, it's really more fearful to just think about it than to actually do it.
I completely agree with you. And knowing that you have the support of, somebody who takes your back, right? At that moment, it's something quite important. So to close this thing about the challenges of women in startup world, what would be, I'm not going to say advice, but how you deal with this, let's say, gender bias, or people not trusting you enough, how that affects your self-esteem, or you're willing to carry on with the project, right? Because when you decide to start a new company, it's something because you have something inside, right? You want to get that goal, you want to create some impact, or to do some good to the world, and then you need resources. But at the moment of starting to looking for those resources, you start finding those obstacles that I'm pretty sure affects your let's say your confidence at some point. So how, as a woman, you move forward with that?
I would like to go first with this one because Alena will probably have a lot to say. I just want to say that one of my first steps was actually doing the startup factory incubator where I met Alena. And not long after I finished the incubator, I started my own business. So it was advice like, first, you have to be passionate about your idea. Whatever it is, you need to be passionate about it, because if you believe in it, other people will believe in it or not. But if you believe in it, the chances are much, much higher. After that, of course, you should seek mentorship or people who would be able to contribute to your knowledge, uh, because every piece of advice when you're starting something new is a resource. So, like, seek for guidance, seek for support. Don't be shy to ask stupid questions. There is not a stupid question when you're just starting, and probably other people have had the same challenges as you, as we could understand through this discussion too. So this is something I would advise people who are just, I mean, generally women who are just starting, because women can sometimes be shy to ask questions, or just to stand out in a way, because in different cultures. But for example, in my culture, it was not that common. That in recent years only women started doing their own businesses. Like, it's a very traditional country. So just don't be afraid to ask questions, don't be afraid to ask for help, don't be afraid to surround yourself and find people who have similar interests to something that you're interested in. And it's making you stronger. Like, it's it will help you just to understand that it's not that big of a problem or not that big of a deal. It's mostly in our own heads. So this is the advice I would give.
I certainly agree with you, because I was also living in Montenegro, and I saw how things work there. But sometimes, not even for a woman, but just as someone with an idea who never started a business before, the thought of getting involved into such a process can be intimidating, right? So searching for this networking support, or mentoring, or just getting more knowledge helps to take down those big barriers, mental barriers that we put ourselves, right? um, so what about you, Alina?
Yeah, I actually wanted to thank Alexandra for the speech, because I was about to say something like that, and I really love your enthusiasm and how you're describing your experience. It was super interesting to listen to. And as for me, I also can say that I've been working with startups for many years, right? And I know that not only women startups are struggling. So, startup, like building your own business, building your own startup, starting something new is always a challenge, and uh, you need to prove everything to everyone. You need to prove that you deserve to start this business to those who invest money in you. You need to prove that your product is good for your customers. You need to prove that you will be scalable enough to return money to investors. So your journey is always a journey of improvement. Your journey is a journey of achievement, and the biggest thing that you can do, like the best thing you can do, is not to do this alone. Not in terms of solo entrepreneurship. This is also a good case, and sometimes it is great. Just like Alexandra, she's building a great business, but I'm talking about asking for help as well as Alexandra. So I think that we can also divide entrepreneurship journey on stages, and on each stage we can make a list of people or organizations or programs that can help us on current stage. And of course they differ, because in later stage, when you scale, probably you will not need to go to incubator. You will try to gain attention of big industry leaders and try to help yourself with this network. And as for early stage startup, yeah, the mentorship and incubator accelerator programs are the best. Probably even like university programs if you are studying, or any grant competition. It's also a way to expand your network. So as a woman who started a business, and how we overcome these challenges, I do not see them somehow different from any startup that is going on. So it's always challenging, and you always need to prove something, even that you have enough expertise to deal with any problem of your clients. You need to prove this, but I think that every business needs to do that, right? Because you cannot gain trust just by how you look, or how you speak, or how you present yourself in marketing, right? This is not how you gain trust of your clients. You gain trust by doing things that help them. And that's why I think that's even if you are not a women-led startup, or if you are, probably you will have some more challenges, but overall, just do your job, do it well, and do not hesitate to ask for help.
Well, I couldn't agree more with both of you. You just gave us a wide view on how to basically overcome those initial blocks, and how to deal with it through the way, right, through a way to success, let's say. So what I would say then, um, to back up this section, is that to all those new founders, or those who have an idea and are afraid to start, don't isolate yourself. Reach for mentorship. Check your local community. Take a look on who those as you said, incubator programs, or those fundraising programs that eventually your idea is not mature enough to fundraise, but it's good enough to get you in contact with potential, co-founders or partners or associates, or eventually a new team. So don't try to do everything by yourself. Get enough knowledge. Take your time. Move forward. And build your network, right? Because eventually that's what will help you to expand the reach of your project, your idea, and yourself. So now moving back to Alexandra, because we reverted the roles at this point. Tell us, please, a little bit more about green lining. What exactly it is, how it deals with sustainability and technology.
Well, green lining does three sort of intertwining things. We care about beautiful designs, so aesthetics, inclusivity, and sustainability. So basically, we are doing 3D design and 3D printing. In terms of design, we do different types of things. We do um, artistic products, we do art deco, we do jewelry. So anything that we can imagine, we can do it. Then the second part is the actual manufacturing of the product itself. We do this on a 3D printer, and we are using biodegradable and recycled plastic to do it at this time. We were actually able to scale the business at the start because we understood that since we're pioneers in this type of business in Montenegro, we need partners, and we were able to make a partnership that allows us to have a variety of products. We've recently launched our new collection that is currently we launched in the past 8 months more than 15 products. So we have the ability to do wholesale items. So like we can do custom design for custom pieces if someone needs it, or also we can do business to business. So this is something that we were able to do in the first year of our existence, and I'm really proud of this. What we've done so far that was proven to be of great value is definitely using products that have usage in homes in everyday life. Our most innovative product is actually we've created a leaf design that's made out of recycled plastic that you can use as a funnel when you're watering your plants. So there's no mess when you're watering the plant and the water goes everywhere and you have to clean up, especially with kids because they love doing the watering. So this is the type of product that had great success so far, and this is what we've been doing. We've actually had a few um, like sort of events that we gather, um, let's say cleanup events that we gather all of the plastic waste from the beaches or the rivers. I live in Budva, so we mostly have done the beaches, and up north we've done a few cleaning of forests, and then we gather all of this plastic waste, and then we process it, and then create the filament for the 3D printer. So this is basically the manual work, how it works. And then the second part is actually using biodegradable filaments made from starch. So they're all eco-friendly, and this is the sustainable aspect of our business. We could go fully into if plastic were to stop. It's like if we were to stop manufacturing new plastic, we could go fully into the plant-based filaments. So sustainability wise, this is the business model that we're using. We can do B2B or B2B2C, like depending on what type of collaboration we're doing. So this is what we've done so far.
Okay, that's quite interesting. And I have a sort of a technical question, if you allowed me. Uh, is there anything that these vegetables filament things cannot do that plastic, the normal plastic we know, does, or vice versa?
The only like the main difference is that the different types of plastic, like PETG or PLA, the only difference is how they react to the outside factors. For example, the sun. So biodegradable plastic um, will degrade faster than regular plastic, but it's still very firm and very durable. So these are the good type of components. Um, the bad, I don't see any bad sides to it other than like this durability. But if we're making things that are a waste, it should be used as a resource. So this part of the business where we're doing recycling, we're basically using the same plastic, so it's the same durability. But in terms of the biodegradable one, it's basically the same. But it's just it degrades in a more valuable way to the environment, because basically you can throw it away in your garden, and it will not affect the living beings there.
Okay, and what will be your sorry, let me reformulate. What is your choice, or what is the key for you to choose between one type of plastic or the other, whether you receive a new order?
It depends on the color of the product. That's basically it.
Okay.
If the customer would allow me to do additional coloring to the recycled plastic or not, because currently I don't have a factory that's doing the coloring of the filament, and the recycled one is usually transparent, sort of foggy color. So if you want to keep the original color, it would have to be this one. But it's more of an issue of a current stage of my business. It's possible um, to gain that level where I can choose the coloring as well, but it's sort of in the future. And this way, because I have partners, I'm actually spreading my network by getting two types of filaments, so I can give the people a choice also, and they can choose the raw recycled plastic, or they can choose the biodegradable one. It's still great, but it's not from my river. So for people in Montenegro, it's um, more important to choose the raw one, because they know we had this action in the beach where the kids would gather the plastic, and then later on through a workshop we would create vases that they can take home to their moms. So this was something of additional value to the kids, because it was a product of their own work. So this is basically how I'm choosing which type of material I would use. But it's essentially the customer can, in let's say 90% of the time, choose which type of plastic they want, because it just depends on the type of product that they need.
Okay, okay, completely understood. In any case, those actions of cleaning beaches and cleaning the forest, uh, at some point, those are things that we shouldn't do, because that shouldn't happen, right? But now that we have the problem, somebody needs to deal with that. And it's a great thing that you found this idea and you found this way to help cleaning the environment and protecting at some point through your project. So now going back to Alina, you have a quite interesting project that is on the other side of the coin, as Alexandra said at the beginning. So you were working previously in Altar Capital. You were also working as a co-founder of Startup Factory. So what inspired you to create Taskinfinity? How you came up with this women-led model for your project, and if you can share some, let's say, successful stories and what made them successful.
Yeah, sure. First of all, based on experience, what inspired to create a fundraising agency? Actually, as I said, we were on the other side of startups that are seeking investments, and we really understood that many businesses do not understand how to do fundraising job, and we really know that fundraising is a full-time job, and founders that were asking us as investors, like, do we need to fundraise right now, or probably we'll need to wait and focus on product, and probably we'll go to investors in some other time, because as I said, I was managing startups that we already invested in, so we were their smart money. We not only invested some money in them, but we also could help them with some hiring, or with advice, or with the other stuff. And I was the person who collected all the asks from our portfolio companies, and that was the most frequently asked question, like, when should we do our next round of fundraising? And the answer was like, as earlier the better. The earlier the better, because fundraising is a really hard job, and you should not even focus on anything but trying to seek investments, and usually it's founder or co-founder who is doing that. So the main power of your startup is just blocked, because your founder will be doing this fundraising. And we understood that many startups are struggling with that. They could not prepare a good pitch deck. They do not know what to put in financial model or what to put in data room for investors. They struggle with communicating with investors. So they already have a call with them, but they do not know how to present their project and do not know how to evaluate it, because startup when the startup raises money, also one of the most important metric is valuation of the business, like how much do you cost and how much you can offer to investor, like how much stock, 20% or 10% or even 5%, and for how much money. And that problem of startups do not understanding how to communicate with investors inspired me and my partner to start this business after we quitted Altair Capital. And we did this pretty in the same time, and we just combined our experience and our thoughts on how we can do this. And actually, she just understood that this is a big problem, and many startups already tried to reach us because we had this experience, and just trying to hire us as an investment agent, and we understood that this could be a scalable business, and we can not only help startups that already came to us, but also many other. And that's how we came up with this idea. We are about 6 months old, so it's a new business that we started not so long time ago. But for today, we already have more than, I guess, 10 clients accumulative. It means that some of the clients already finished working with us, because fundraising can be 3 to 4 months long, and we already overcome this. And some of the clients are still with us. They want us not only to help them like raise money, but also keep this communication with investors. After all, like to send them updates or try to see how to expand their network. And as for successful cases, I think that all of our cases are quite good, and we are not doing like the full job of fundraising, right? We only connect investor to founder, and the job of pitching your product is only can be done of startup founder. We only can help them to prepare for this. And we, for example, right now we have a Web3 startup, and we already helped them to conduct more than 20 calls with investors. Even blockchain market is quite different from natural venture capital, and it's a very interesting and different market for us. And we also helped a Series A startup to outreach more than 3,000 contacts from more than 1,000 VC funds, and they were raising about 2 million, and now they are trying to close this deal. So this is also a long process, but this is successful that we already had this outreach results, and companies that worked with us for some time, like in the start of our business, they returning to us when they need to raise a new round. And this is the biggest thing that we see. They like how we work with them. So this is the biggest result, because they really understand that we can help them.
Sure. What I see about this project is the difference between the traditional incubators, or those companies that just trying to connect you with somebody in exchange of some part of your company, and if there is not that agreement, then the reach of potential network gets limited. There are certain blocks into the companies to eventually get those connections. so that you work exclusively trying to help founders to prepare themselves to face those goals. It's something that is extremely important, I would say, because nobody teach you that, right? Yes, you can go to a workshop. They will give you an overall example of how the 12 most important slides, but then you need to put something in those slides, and eventually you need someone with enough knowledge to tell you the quality of those slides, especially with the financials and the business model and the valuation, especially when you're talking about early stage startups, because you can have a great idea, but then, okay, how many others have the same idea at the same time, right? And you don't know. So this is a quite sensitive topic, I would say, that can eventually mark the road to success or to failure of any small company, right? At the very beginning. So without trying to think too much into the future, but as I see that after 6 months, you already have some customers that said, hey, we want to continue working with you. I assume that eventually there are some plans to help them or to lead some investment rounds, right? That would be a natural step for your project, I would say.
I think that's another step for our project is making the team size bigger. We are now a team of 4, like full women company. We have like 2 co-founders and 2 employees, and they're also women. And the next step for scale is to have more startups in our portfolio. I can say portfolio, like in our pipeline, clients pipeline, and also to expand not only to pre-seed and seed startups, but also for Series A. And we also can do B2B outreach. So for now, we are gaining this experience in helping our startups outreach and lead generate their clients. So not only investors, because the process is quite similar, but of course with this specific. And we are gaining this technical experience, and we are hiring some people that are experienced in that. But yeah, I think that's our goal is to have I think at least 15 clients by the end of the year, and also to have these successful cases of startups raising money, because for now we just like help them to communicate and we also prepare them and stuff. But after that there is like a big process of due diligence. Due diligence is companies, like investors, evaluating startups, like their financials and their legal companies, like all the legal stuff. So it's like financial legal team, and this process can last for also like half a year, and we cannot control it from our side. That's why I think that's our goal is also to like wait for our startups that we are helping today, like how they do all the fundraise in future. Like, did they raise their money they wanted to? Like, what was their goal and how much did they raise eventually? And to combine all these cases into successful stories and scale even more.
Okay, that's a good thing. And I have a last quick question, because this is important, related to how Taskinfinity works, which is, what is your business model towards your clients, right? So how do you work? Is as a based fee? Is a success fee? Or eventually is a part of equity? How does Taskinfinity charge their customers?
Yeah, we do not have any success fee because we do not control the process of founder like pitching to investors. And even if we have like 20 calls with investors per month, we cannot guarantee that these calls will be successful, right? That's why our business model is a monthly retainer. So we just startups pay us every month. We have this monthly contract and they pay us, and the minimum contract is 2 months, because for the first month we are starting all the technical setup, and we create these domains, and also we warm up them, because you cannot just write to 100 investors from your mail, you will be just blocked, right? That's why we start this and we start preparation. We also make an analysis of startup. We can help them with pitch deck and stuff. And this is what comes in the first month. So it's like preparation for the big work. And second month is like working for full engine. And we are outreaching investors. We can do like 5,000 contacts in 2 months. And this is like pretty big amount of contacts that we can provide. And that was the minimum that we stated after we understood that for the first month we cannot guarantee any result because it's just setup and preparation. And second month we already can give you some results. But we never worked for 2 months with any our clients. All of them are prolonging it for like 3, 4, 5 months, and this is like not a surprise for us, but this is a good thing that need to be analyzed. Because in our opinion, you just outreach these investors and that's it. You go and you do your job. But eventually, it turns out that startups are outreaching investors, and as we do this on behalf of their name, they can focus more on other things. That's why they want to prolong this with us, so that we can save them this time, and they can focus on product or focus on investor meetings that we can give them, right? They do not need to search for database because we already prepared this hand-picked base of investors for each startup, like what is suitable for you, what is suitable for your stage, industry, and your personal investment goal. And as we are saving them money and time, they really want to work with us for more months.
Of course, that makes all the sense in the world, right? Once you get that person, in that case, the company who solves you a lot of issues and troubles, and they have the knowledge and the expertise, and they are somehow, let's say, affordable for your project, then you don't want to let them go, right? That would be my case as a founder, right? So thank you so much for sharing this, because I think it's important for those founders who are in this situation and they need someone who helps them go through the connections, or getting those connections or calls, and prepare the materials. It will be very, very interesting for them to know how Taskinfinity works and how you can help them to achieve those goals. It is true, success is not guaranteed. Then it's your work as a founder to expose yourself and to do other things, right? But it's not the same doing that without preparation than doing that after 2, 3, 4 months of hard work and getting ready for this moment.
Right.
So now going back to your project, Aleksandra, as I said, I'm pleased to know how your approach and the sustainability of your project is helping at some point Montenegro, and eventually can be, let's say, exported to other parts to follow in the same thing, or eventually doing those cleaning things in other parts of the world or other parts of the country, so you can source your materials. But as a founder in a journey, which is a long-term journey in the future, so far, can you tell us from a personal level, which was the most, let's say, rewarding moment, right? When you said, okay, I did it, I accomplished it after so many ups and downs, and when was it, and what happened?
Okay, so 2 moments come to mind. The first one was actually the initial moment where I decided to do this type of thing, to help the environment and everything, to help my community. I was actually walking my dog, and this was in the park in Budva, my hometown, and we were just very relaxed. I go to this park all my life, and one day when we were there, I was looking at my phone. I wasn't paying attention for like 2 minutes, and my dog actually was startled on a bottle cap. So he almost swallowed the bottle cap, and it was very stressful situation for me because I don't know anything about this. And there were some people in the park as well, and they helped me. And luckily, nothing happened to my dog. But it was a very stressful situation. And this was something where I was thinking, okay, I'm in the park, I'm with my dog, I'm trying to relax, I'm trying to unwind for all of the, work stuff and things like this. And like, I'm not even able to do this from this stupid waste that's everywhere. And there were kids around, and it was terrible. And that's when I understood and finally decided to do something about this. And it took me some time to think about what exactly would I be doing, how can I contribute, because I'm mostly a creative person. I'm not a person who comes from a background of eco experts and things like this. So this was something when I first started my business, when I actually made my first pair of earrings, which are these that I'm wearing right now.
Oh, okay.
This was something very
So
rewarding.
fantastic. I love them so much.
Yeah, it was actual like product of my work, and it was very rewarding for me personally. And then the second part was actually when my idea was recognized. And it's so important to note every situation when where somebody told you yes, because when you're starting a business, there are going to be so many no's. Like, people don't really address this enough. People are mostly like already talking from a point of success, but they fail sometimes to mention how many times you were told no. So this was one of the rewarding things, where actually my project was the only one in this competition by the EU Commission, and it was the only project that was a finalist in from Montenegro. So I was the only person that went to Brussels, and I was there with like a lot of people, a lot of amazing projects and ideas. And I didn't feel small. Like, there were projects that people were building houses for refugees. There were like all different types of projects, and mine was there with them. And this was something that for me really helped me go forward, even though maybe back home it wasn't as much recognition at that stage. And this was something that I will remember forever. And after upon return, we had like this one cleanup action, and everyone was so happy that I was a young person, their neighbor that they know, that was able to do this in like a short period of time, and that I was the person that they knew maybe their whole life. And and it gave them hope as well, to do something that they maybe wanted to do, that they maybe dreamed of, but didn't really have the confidence to still do it. And when I told them, like, okay, this was very difficult, but it was also something great, and it was a great experience for me. And I had a chance to learn, and it wasn't just bad, and hard. It was amazing, rewarding experience. This was like a moment for me that I told myself, okay, this is it. I'm definitely doing this. As much as I can, I will put everything into this. And this is something that sometimes people play down, their success, but it's, you shouldn't do it. Like, if you struggled and you achieved something, even though if it's not big, but you're feeling great, it should be like spread around, and people should know it.
Definitely, and I'm so happy about the early success and how you created this out of that trigger, right? Because that was a trigger for you, and and I truly believe that it's not about the scale, but about the potential, right? So you were there, you ended up finalist and traveling to Brussels, not because how big you are, but how important your project is and the impact that your project creates, which is a completely different story, right? There will be time for scaling. There will be time for making your project even better and to in parallel helping more places and spreading the word, because eventually as a project based on sustainability, you have a big responsibility about teaching, right? About how to collaborate with the environment, how to protect the environment, how to waste less plastic and less things that are not good for our environment. But at the same time, those things could be processed in a proper way, and you can take advantage of that and to make your business grow. So everything is connected, and I'm very, very happy that people eventually comes to sense and said, "Oh, look, this is an amazing project. She's doing a great thing for our environment. Somebody is actually taking care of this issue, right, in a creative way, because it's not only, oh, yes, we just recycle, chop things up, and then eventually, who knows what we do with it, or we create eventually new plastic for the same thing, right? You are actually doing some things that are useful for people, or eventually, as you said, allowing customers to create their own designs, share them with you, and you create unique pieces for them. So that's I think it's a great value.
I just want to add, like, it's something that I see as a huge potential in it is just the mindset, because uh, like these eco-friendly practices weren't really that familiar to me. I wasn't an expert in this field or anything like this, but when I understood that there's a machine that they can take one plastic bottle or two or three, whatever, and make it into something tangible, something I can touch, something I can understand, and it doesn't take an engineer to do it, this was something that was a seller for me personally, because I think this technology is just growing, it's just becoming cheaper. 3D printers are really becoming really affordable. So maybe one day, like, each of us can have it in our own homes, and you can, like, make pieces for yourself that you need for everyday use, that you don't need to buy again and again and again. So this was something that I saw potential in, especially for people who are not from this background. And I told them, like, I'm not from this background, I know nothing about this, but I learned, I took some attention to it, and now this is well, this is just example, doing different things, but I did this, I made this, and it didn't take a rocket scientist to do it.
Sure, 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 of course. But in any case, it's needed people like you. It needs people like you, not people with the knowledge that you have now, but people with the courage of do things, right? With the commitment, because you had that trigger, and you said, okay, I should do something with this, but eventually next day you could completely forget about that, right? So it says, okay, now I go to a different park, a cleaner park, or I go to the beach. But instead, you put your hands on uh, and started a journey that leads you up to today, and the incredible things that will happen to you in the future, and your amazing project. So I congratulate you on that, and I definitely encourage you to continue. As I said, never give up, expand your network, get the best of the connections that you are building through the way. And we will see. I will definitely have a follow up with you in a few months from now to see what in which stage your project is. So, Alena, as you work not with plastic but with people, right? And I can just guessing, right, that when a customer says, "Look, I put you to test, I got some results, or the results exceed my expectations. Now I want to continue working with you." That's a rewarding experience, right? But let's not talk about just Taskinfinity, which is only 6 months old. That probably gave you a lot of great moments so far. But through your experience with startups, as a founder, let's say, as a founder helping other founders, can you tell us about those, the most rewarding moment from your journey so far?
First of all, I think that the most rewarding journey was when my business partner, co-founder, she invited me to do this business with her because, first of all, it was her idea, and startups came to her and tried to get her help with this investment, and she just kind of invited me, and we started this together. So first of all, this experience was very emotional for me, and I'm still so super grateful. Anya, thank you so much. It was super nice. And the second thing I can say is, right, you already mentioned the clients, and also the rewarding experience is when So in our business, we are small business and we are providing services, right? But we still testing many hypotheses on who is our client, how can we help them, what services can we provide to them, and they will be most helpful for them, which investors they should outreach, probably how they can do it via conferences, or probably we even can manage the warm outreach, not only the cold outreach, right? And testing hypothesis is usually a continuous process of losing, many of things that you try to do. You have a hypothesis on something and you test it, and usually the test fails, and it's totally okay, it's totally fine, but you just crosses this point and you say no, this will not work, and we'll move on. But when your test is successful, and it's not a very often thing, right? It's also a very rewarding experience. For example, in Taskinfinity, um, we tested a hypothesis that we can connect not only to investors but to fellow founders. For example, for this crypto startup, we make a list of founders that are doing pretty similar things, and they can and we actually, on behalf of the startup, we connected to these people and say, we are doing pretty same thing, can you please introduce us to investors that invested in you? And probably we also can have any other communication on our businesses, because we are working in the same field, right? But we do not know each other. And as for our surprise, founders are super helpful here. So they were like, yes, we'll introduce you to our investors, and let's communicate on how we can be helpful to each other. And this hypothesis on warm outreach, when it's not the same when you ask investor to look through your pitch deck and stuff, other than the startup that he already invested in introduces to this, right? So this is a very different experience of warm introduction, and this hypothesis worked, and we continue to do this with our other clients, because this already gave us some results, like some intro calls that were super warm, and investors were like, yeah, we saw your project, and this person introduced me to you. And this was super rewarding when you understand that the test that you're running is working, and the crazy idea that just came up to your mind one day, you just one day wake up and see something like, we'll do this in our business, and it works. It's really rewarding.
Yeah, it definitely is, especially if it works at the first try, right?
Yes. So that's and I think that's our business is not that old and big, but I already have many enjoyable moments here, and I will be happy to continue it and scale and grow, and also wish Aleksandra's business also big growth, because I also love it. And we already met before, right? But I didn't know many details on how she's doing it, and now I know many new information, and I'm so happy that I have you here as well.
Sure. Thank you both for sharing. Definitely, Aleksandra's project has a big degree of complexity, right? There are many things involved in the middle. It's not only the business model, but the source of the materials and the sustainability, and how to scale it, and how to eventually the plans of bringing new, as you said, new colors or new materials, or new choices to the potential customers, and how to make eventually new collaborations or contacts. So knowing that you are enjoying the journey, both of you, is also rewarding for me as a founder, as a startup brand director, someone who tries to help and to collaborate with different founders along the journey. So thank you both for being here today. So I have two more little questions for you both before we close for today. And the first will be, what do you think there are the most important personal qualifications that somebody needs to become a founder, right? Because an idea is not enough, a team is not enough. We already talked about blocks and challenges and mental things and our ideas, our fears, and that we need to get a network, not isolate ourselves. But to be able to do all those things, you need to have a, let's say, a core group of characteristics or or how skills or things. So what would you, based on your point of view, will be those essential things that somebody needs to be an entrepreneur, let's say, or especially a women entrepreneur?
Can I go first?
Sure, please. Thank you.
I would say it just depends, but it depends on the industry and type of things and your role in the whole process. But I would say something that's universal, that you have to be passionate, you have to be persistent, and this is for all mankind, not just entrepreneurs. You shouldn't take anything as granted. Like, you should question and adapt and learn as much as you can. So like, if a no is not a no and a yes is not just a yes, so this is something that I take as a motto in my entire life. Like, everything that I've done, I've never taken anything for granted, because there is always like a different perspective to things. So if you're struggling, it's normal. We've all been through this. Don't let it discourage you. Just take this opportunity to learn something from it. And I think these are the characteristics that everyone should have when starting a business, because it's not going to be all apples and oranges. It's not going to be easy. There will be times you will be completely motivated. You will not want to wake up and get out of bed probably that day, because you're having I don't know, a busy day and everything. But don't let it discourage you. There's a sunny day coming after that. So it's persistency. That's, I think, persistency and discipline. But for me, but discipline is part of persistency. So this is the type of personal characteristic that you should value, like, that you should try to develop in I think it's beneficial for any aspect of life, not just entrepreneurial one.
Well, I couldn't say that better myself. So, so thank you, Alexandra, for sharing, because I definitely agree with you in on everything. There are some other things as well, but I think that you summarized pretty well much of it. So, what's your point of view on this, Alina?
Totally agree with Alexandra, and only can add that the person who is starting a new business should not be afraid of any failure, because it will happen definitely and many times. And joyful moments will also come, but not that quickly, that failure. So do not be afraid of it. And also, mm, probably you need to be a leader, because even if you're a solo entrepreneur, you need to lead your own project, you need to lead customers after you, and also your potential partners, your network, anyone who will believe in your project. You need to believe it yourself, so you need to believe it in your. And actually, this is about passion, as Alexandra mentioned, and also I would say willingness to change something by your project. Not only like change the world, but probably your project is not about that. Probably your project is about, I don't know, building productivity in teams, or some healthcare, or some financial instrument to save money for people, right? Or to save them time, and willingness to change your life and life of your potential customers, uh, or even as Alexandra's project, willingness to change the world, to a better place. This is the best thing that can be that can lead a project. And all the other things, they also applicable, like technical expertise and I don't know, some professional network is also very important things, but they are, you can gain them in some time, right? And just as Alexandra did, she already gained some technical experience in this 3D printing. And as for me, we are doing kind of like marketing, I can say. It's like a lead generation, but for investors. So we also started without this technical experience in how to do this. But we knew how to help startups, and we just applied this experience to this technical skills that we gained, and we created this business. So the basic skills are not being afraid of failure and willingness to change the world. I can say.
Please, Alexandra, I completely agree with you, Alina.
I definitely agree with Alena, especially because people have, like, I think, two different fears, like the risk of failing and then the fear of missing out. And even people who do start, I know I felt this way when I first started. I was like, oh, I'm too late for this, this is already, far gone as an idea. But then I decided to uh, learn something about this. So I went into the, like, business models and business stories of, like, some of the most successful companies in the world, and actually found out that Coca-Cola only sold like 25-30 bottles in their first year. So, like, this
12.
is, yeah, this is like
12.
something that don't rush yourself, take your time. It will take time. Just still, just be persistent, just stay into it, just believe in yourself, and your time will come, definitely. So this is something that really helped me a lot, like this type of data, to actually know, like, the average entrepreneur's age, or because you always think you're like too late for something. Even I'm not even 30 years old, and I always feel like, oh no, I'm too late for this. So this is something that people need to understand when they're first starting.
Sure, and definitely you are absolutely not late for anything in life whatsoever, unless in business. Because if you check on history on the past 100 years, most of the most successful brands and companies were founded after the creators were 50 something years old. And we are talking that 50 years old, being 50 years old, is like too old for many things, right? So they created those projects after failure and failure and failure. So and then I think that I should add to the word persistent that you both said is being resilient, right? Because one thing that we can have for granted is that at any point in life we are going to fail, right? The same way that we can think that eventually we are going to be successful, but that takes a next try after a failure. So the quicker you fail testing your business idea, the faster you correct and you back on track again, right? So the resilience comes to facing those failures in a let's say as taking those failures as a learning experience. Because why you fail? Because things that you missed, things that you don't know, things that were outside of your control. So you need to learn what caused that failure in order to be prevented for the next time and the next failure, which will happen because another things that you don't know, right? So don't discourage in yourself, because most of the times what I've seen is that new founders can't, let's say, measure expectations, right, with the results. They believe in the idea, they are so passionate about it, they are somehow blind towards what is outside your idea, what is outside your project, and how eventually your project interacts with your society, right, and with your potential customers. So basically, I said, oh yes, I have this, now I get my MVP, and now I will be, the next unicorn. And no, that's not how it works. And those high expectations in a very early stage, sometimes when you don't get to the results expected after the first year, or you couldn't close your seed round or your Series A round, and then you are tight on money and you need to find a way, to keep your team going and developing your product. sometimes that's scary, right? This is how I got into this position. So, as Alexandra said, everything comes at the right time, but you need to be consistent. You need to be hardworking in your project every single day. And as Alena said, if you have no money, if you don't have a rich dad who is supporting you, then you need to allocate some resources in that fundraising process, right? And keep it going until you get that money and you can continue developing your project. So there are many things involved, and just passion by itself is not enough. Willing to learn, willing to get that knowledge that you don't have, is another thing that I will add, right? Because we said yes, all the technical skills, all the business knowledge, it can be learned, it can be acquired, but it requires the willingness to get to that, to put yourself into endless night of reading documentations or books on testings, or speaking with other people who is more knowledgeable than you and are willing to teach you things. So it's harder than it seems. It's harder than we can eventually convey in this interview, but I would definitely say that it's worth it, right? We are not doing this because it's easy. We are doing this because it's inside of us, and because we eventually want to, change the world. I would say one bottle at a time, right, Alexandra? So to wrap this up, I would like to quickly ask you, what are the short-term goals or the short-term objectives for both of your projects?
Alena, do you want to go?
Yeah, actually, I think this is just scaling to 5 people, gaining more clients, and I don't know, probably we also are building not only like an agency providing services, but we're also building a technical platform that will be released soon, that will be available on subscription, where you can go and just type your business industries, and after that you'll get the list of investors that are suitable for you, and you can contact them on the spot. So this is our goal for next couple of months, to release this, and release will be on the product hunt, and we are preparing for that. This is what we are trying to do right now with some technical experienced guys with CTO and stuff, except for the agency. And the agency just will be scaling with the new clients and new people in the team.
Okay, sounds really great. I'm pretty sure that new tool will be quite useful for many people who eventually has not the availability, to commit to a long-term
Yes,
fee in order to
yes.
get something, but they want to do them themselves for a, let's say, a more affordable price.
Yeah, and we already have this wait list, so you can check it on our
Well,
website.
so congratulations on that, and I'm pretty sure that will be a great success for your company. So, what about you, Alexandra?
I'm actually looking forward to 2 types of, let's say, projects. One of them is to acquire partners from different countries. First, we are looking at the Balkan, the Western Balkan 6 here, the one we're bordering with, basically. And then after that, I personally am working on a project where we want to create an MVP of an innovative product that will help actually in growing plants indoors. So this is something I'm currently working on. It needs a lot of work because I need different types of help. I'm currently working with someone from universities to try and develop this idea so it works best. So these are the 2 areas where I'm focused at right now, and I'm actually really happy with how it's going. And in terms of our short-term goals, I think it's very doable.
Okay, so sounds great. I definitely wish both of you the best of luck in this endeavor. Alena helping founders, Alexandra helping the environment. So those are both quite challenging tasks that you are up to. Definitely, I am very happy that you both exist in this world. So wrapping up, thank you both once again for joining me today, for sharing a little bit of your experience, your history, your amazing projects, and what's coming up in the future. So
thank you so much, Juan, for inviting us today, and thank you, Startup Grind, for giving us this opportunity to share our experience. It was super nice and exciteful.
Yes, thank you, Juan. It's really important to have like a platform for young people and young entrepreneurs, because it's really much easier to resolve any of the struggles or any questions you have when you're actually connected to people who are doing similar things or thinking about doing similar things. So I think it's great what you are doing, and I'm really happy that I was called here today.
thank you both. We will make a follow-up session probably in a few months to see the progress of your project, because those things are quite interesting for me and for all our audience. Thanks everyone for joining. This is Juan Ignacio from Startup Grind Montenegro. See you everyone on our next Fireside Chat.